A murder mystery, the search for the person who mutilated a woman in Brooklyn. Police tell us what appears to be a leg was found wrapped up in Cypress Hills on Jamaica Avenue near Vermont Street. Tonight, a two-time convicted killer charged with murdering again.
The subject of today's video is crazy. In fact, this is most definitely the craziest and most bizarre thing that I have ever covered on this channel. The subject of today's video is a man that killed someone, got released from prison, killed someone again, became a woman behind bars, then got released from prison again. Now you would think that she had learned her lesson by now. Well, she killed once again. The subject of today's video is none other than Harvey Marcelin, and today we're going to be telling her story. But before we get into the video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Harvey Marcelin was born as a boy in Manhattan in 1938. His mother was a seamstress, and his father, who died when Harvey was just 10 years old, was a clerk. His parents grew up in Harlem, but later moved to 158th Street in Washington Heights. He was treated well by his parents and described his mother as soft-spoken and gentle. However, despite being treated well by his parents, Harvey would face various types of abuse and trauma as a child. At a young age, he attended a daycare center at St. Aloysius Catholic Church on 132nd Street in Harlem, which he said was run by strict nuns who whipped him, sexually abused him, and forced children to eat bad food. Harvey would plead with his mother not to go, but his mother would drag him there, and when he would run away, they would send people after him and chase him and bring him back to the school. A court record shows that Harvey was first examined by a psychiatrist at the age of 14 and had been involved in truancy, theft, heterosexual and homosexual activity, and cross-dressing. According to court documents, Harvey's life of crime began in 1957 with various felonies such as burglary and assault. Fast forward to 1963, he was arrested and charged with attempted rape, but the case was dropped when the victim didn't show up to court. Throughout his life, Harvey developed a nasty resentment towards women. In fact, he can be quoted as saying that he had a problem with women. When it came to his intimate relationships with women, he embraced the mentality that if I can't have you, no one can. Whenever he suspected one of his partners of cheating, or if one of his partners tried to break up with him, bad things would happen. It's no secret that Harvey was mentally unstable. In fact, a psychiatric examination by 3 doctors at Bellevue in 1963 concluded that he had schizoid personality with sociopathic features, but was not deemed criminally insane nor psychotic. A hospital record from 1962 suggested he might have delusional grandiosity, suggestions of chronic schizophrenia, and paranoid reaction personality. Tragically, his hatred of women, proclivity to paranoia, and mental instability would lead to senseless death and violence. In 1963, Harvey Marcelin was dating a woman by the name of Jacqueline Bonds. One day, Jacqueline told Harvey that she wasn't going to go out with him anymore. Well, Harvey didn't take this well. According to Jacqueline's mother, who was there at the time, Harvey pointed his finger at Jacqueline and said, "I'll get you." Just 6 weeks after this incident, on April 18, 1963, Harvey went to his girlfriend's apartment in Harlem and shot her in the hallway with a .32 caliber revolver. Jacqueline Bonds ran into her bedroom where she was shot again. She staggered into the living room where she collapsed and died. 3 bullet wounds were later found in her body. In an interview, Harvey said that he killed Jacqueline not because of rejection, but because of jealousy. Harvey stated that Jacqueline was very popular and that he imagined her being nice to and sleeping with other people. Harvey explicitly stated that he killed Jacqueline because he didn't want anyone else to have her. After being arrested, Harvey was placed on trial. During his sentencing, the jury couldn't agree on imposing the death penalty, so the judge in the case sentenced Harvey to life in prison. Harvey would eventually be released on lifetime parole in 1984. Just 1 year after being released from prison, Harvey would get arrested for another murder. In October of 1985, Harvey stabbed his then-girlfriend, Miranda, to death. After killing her, Harvey chopped Miranda up into pieces and put her remains in black bags and dumped them near Central Park. Harvey pled guilty to manslaughter in this case, telling a judge that he shared rent with Anna, and in an interview with police, Harvey stated that sometimes Anna wouldn't come up with the rent, and sometimes she would steal stuff out of the house and bring people there without Harvey's permission. This would enrage Harvey and drive him towards violence. Harvey was sentenced to 6 to 12 years in prison in 1986, but because he was still on lifetime parole for the 1963 murder, he was denied parole for more than 2 decades for the second murder. Every 2 years, Harvey unsuccessfully applied for parole. At one hearing, he blamed his crimes on youth and poor judgment and stupidity, and was rebuked by a parole officer who told him he was a grown-ass man. Harvey complained about this comment, but it went nowhere. Following his 1997 parole hearing, Harvey submitted a complaint to the court that he had been denied a fair hearing because all 3 members of the parole board were women. He felt that the nature of his crimes would lead women to be biased against him, telling the court, "I have problems with women." But his complaint was rejected by a 3-judge panel as speculative and baseless. In 2001, according to the court filing, a guard observed Harvey engaged in an act of oral intercourse with another inmate. He had to face a hearing about it, but no penalty was applied. Eventually, in 2019, the parole board made the decision to release him. However, Harvey came out of prison a lot different than when he came in. In fact, he came out a whole different gender. While in prison, Harvey decided that he no longer wanted to be a man. Instead, he wanted to become a woman. Harvey stated in an interview that he first dressed up as a woman for Halloween at the age of 13 or 14. He felt at peace whenever he would dress up as a woman. However, Harvey kept his feminine side dormant until 1993 when he met a transgender inmate at the Auburn State Prison who encouraged him to start taking Primarian hormone therapy. It was from this moment on that Harvey officially transitioned into a woman. Harvey Marcelin now identified as a lesbian named Marcelin Harvey. I'm going to refer to Harvey as a she for the rest of the video in order to avoid being canceled and offending anyone. Despite becoming a woman, Marcelin would still maintain the same violent tendencies. After being released from prison at the age of 80 in 2019, Marcelin would kill once again. She believed that she had 2 personalities, one of her former self, the man named Harvey, and one of her current self, Marcelin. Marcelin said that she's in touch with both her masculine and feminine sides, but her male persona gets her in trouble. Whenever Marcelin would get mad, she would turn back into Harvey. Harvey was the side that you never wanted to see. Following her release from prison in 2019, Marcelin would live in a Bronx shelter. It was there that she met a woman named Susan Leyden. The 2 of them began to form a close relationship. Tragically, this relationship would end in a horrifying way. On February 27, 2022, Susan Leyden was seen entering Marcelin's apartment carrying a multicolored bag. Less than a week later, on March 3, 2022, a woman's torso was discovered in a garbage bag in a shopping cart on a busy street in East New York, Brooklyn, during the early morning hours. 5 days later, a leg was discovered in Cypress Hill, only blocks away from where the torso was discovered. The next day, detectives questioned Marcelin following reports that she had been leaving the apartment with the same bag. A search of Marcelin's home turned up a human head and electric saws she had bought from a nearby Home Depot. Then, a severed leg was found 4 blocks away, poking out of a tire, cut from the knee down and still wearing a sock. Disgustingly and shockingly, Marcelin was caught on CCTV cameras in a 99-cent store in Brooklyn in a wheelchair with Leyden's severed leg wrapped in a garbage bag. It was later revealed that Leyden died of blunt force trauma to the head. Harvey Marcelin would eventually be arrested and faces charges of first and second degree murder, tampering with physical evidence, and concealment of a human corpse. Though Harvey Marcelin wore a wig and lipstick after his/hers most recent release from prison in 2019, he/she is being housed in the men's unit at Rikers Island. Let me know what you guys think of this situation in the comment section, and please be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.